Hi everyone, Abdi is talking asART 3D and motion graphics. Here we are with another tutorial, and in this tutorial we're gonna cover a lot of things, and we will create this little animation from the scratch. Just let me show you what we're gonna create. The main focus will be on OBJ sequences, which are these running soldiers, and the 360-degree environment, so which is the cloudy sky that you see right here. So let me jump right into the web service, which allows us to create these 3D models. It is called Mixamo when you go to mixamo.com, and here you need an Adobe ID to be able to log in. So if you don't have an Adobe ID, unfortunately there is no way for you to use that service. But if you have one, just click on login and log into your account. Here we are. I can click on store right now and see what we have. Here's a little video which will tell you what Mixamo actually is, what kind of services they are offering, and actually how awesome it is to work with. We have test packs and a couple of other things. And if you go to the section pricing over here, this is the awesome thing about it. Free with Adobe ID. So for a limited time, get all these goodies for free with an Adobe ID. So right now you don't pay any cent when you're using this service, and I'm gonna show you how awesome and easy it is, so you can start to work with. We go up here right to store characters, where you will see a bunch of characters you can select and choose from the library and work with. Depends on your project, what you're working on, but they are fantasy stuff, they are normal stuff as workers, police officers, and stuff like that. So I had this SWAT soldier here, or agent, which you saw in my video, and this is what we will take again and work with. When you have that character selected, you will see add to my assets. Right now you see view download because I already own this model. But if you don't own it, you will see here add to my assets, and it will go to your assets up here. But we need also animations, and if you click on animations, you will see a bunch of presets here which are pretty awesome. Those red robot or dummy animations you see here are for female, and these blue ones are for male. But we have a lot of other animations down here for all those characters and so on. So it is hard to select one like this, but if you're searching for some specific movement like running, so you just type in running and it will give you a list of every running preset that you can choose from. So you select this one, for example, and you see your character starts to run from A to B somewhere. I click on in place, so it is not moving forward actually, or not going off screen, and it is just running in place. And then I can go and add this one also to my assets, and my animation is actually done. So I also have this model already in my assets, so this is what we have view download, which we can click on, go to view download here. But I also have other presets. There is another running soldier in my animation sector, sorry. running. So I'm gonna select that one, I like this one better. Okay, then I can go up here to queue download. Format is FBX, what we need. Width scheme, frames per second, I have 30, you can go for whatever you want. Keyframe duration, we don't need any. And click on queue download. Wait a while and it will be ready soon. So click on download, go to my animated models, SWAT, and then I'm gonna name that SWAT running in place. So now we downloaded our FBX animation. Now to convert this FBX animation to OBJ sequence, we need a 3D application such as 3D Studio Max, which I am working with actually in a normal case. And there is Cinema 4D you can use, and there is also a free 3D application called Blender. Blender is a full 3D application for free. You can go to blender.org/download, download the latest version for your system, and you are good to go. This is what I'm gonna use to show you how to export your FBX animation as OBJ sequences. So I have already installed Blender on my machine, so I'm gonna just jump into that. And when you start here, you will get this little box. You can just press on delete and go and confirm that. The next thing you want to do is go to File, Import, Import FBX, and then I'm going to my FBX animation and click on Import FBX. So here we are with our model here, and if you take a look down here in your timeline, you have all those yellow keyframes that are showing you how long the animation is going. So the last keyframe is 22, it is still yellow. When I move to 23, it turns to white, which means there is no keyframe at all. So I actually need 21 frames because we need one frame offset, because frame 0 and 22 are the same, so we don't want duplicated frames in our animation. So we go one frame offset to frame number 21 in this case, and then you go down here and click on frame, set end frame, and it will shrink your timeline just to that 21 frame area. Then you go to File, Export, Wavefront OBJ. You click on that, select the folder where you want to export your OBJ sequence into, and in my case it will be Video Copilot, 3D Element, and Models, OBJ Sequences, and we have the SWAT. I'm gonna create a new folder here, call that SWAT running in place version 03, because I have two other versions as well. And then I go to my version 03 folder and call that file SWAT running in place v03 and press enter. And before I go and click on export, we have to make sure that the animation is checked on and write materials is also checked on. This is really important. And then go up here to export OBJ and let Blender do its job. It will go really fast because we don't have so many keyframes. We only have 21 keyframes and it should be done really fast. Blender will switch to the production view as soon as the export is done. So here we go, and now we can jump into After Effects and create our composition. So I'm going to create a new comp with Control N and then call that final comp. Doesn't matter actually what you call it. Then my size is here 960 by 540, which is half HD. I have 25 frames per second, half resolution 125 frames in total, which are about 5 seconds. So click on OK, press Ctrl Y to create a new solid. I'm going to create a black solid for my background, and then another solid for my element 3D, and in my effect controls, I'm going to right click Video Copilot element and go to Scene Setup. Here I go to File, Import 3D Sequence, and I'm gonna import my SWAT running in place VO3, which we just exported. Force alignment to bottom, and click on OK, and here we are in our scene. We can't see the model, but you check on normalize size here and it will show you your model in the real size. So down here we go to optimize mesh, so we have the better performance, especially if it is OBJ sequence. That helps a lot. Okay, this is our soldier. Then we need the road, and I'm gonna create just a simple plane here for my road and scale it up to 400%. So in my materials, I'm going to select my default material here. They have some textures that I can use. So a diffuse color for my occlusion, normal map, my glossiness and reflectivity. So this should be good enough. I'm going to bring down occlusion intensity a bit so it's not that dark. And that looks good so far. Then hold down Shift and Alt and drag it back to this point until it snaps to that edge. And I'm gonna do that a couple times because I just want to create a long road. So we'll do one more here. So then I'm gonna select all those road segments and drag them to a new folder. Call that road segment 1. By the way, to rename anything here, you just select the layer and press enter, just as you do in After Effects to rename your layers. So select your road segment number 1, hold down Alt and Shift again and drag it to this direction. So now we have a long road. Select them both and drag them to a new folder and call that road and bring it out of your soldiers folder. So I'm gonna set my soldier to group number 2 and hit OK. Here we are with my soldier and the road, which we can't see because we still don't have a camera to go to the right angle. And for my camera, I'm using MALTY simple camera rig, which is a pretty awesome script, which I highly recommend. So it's really, really useful and full of great features. So it creates, as you see, just a null as my camera control, and here I have a couple other stuff which allows me to have a much better control over my camera, a much easier way. But before I change anything, I double click on my cam and set the preset here to 24, so it gives me the much wider angle here, so my road looks much longer, which is pretty cool. Now I'm gonna select my camera null and move it up a bit so I can see his face here. And we need another thing, and this is the ground. Let me go back to element 3D scene setup and create the ground real quick. Here in my road folder, create another plane and bring it up. Point. Hold down Control and move it down a bit, about 0.02. It is good enough on y-axis. And then we go to presets, Pro Shaders 2, ground, and I'm gonna pick something like this. Go to my UV maps and UV map repeat. Gonna bring that value up until it matches my ground or my road here. So that looks okay. Looks good so far. Then hit OK. So now I need my cloudy background in the sky and 360 degree environment. For that, I'm gonna use one of the sky maps from Video Copilot's Jetstrike 3D model pack, and there you will find these sky maps which you can use for your 360 environment. So I just drag and dropped it into my comp, and I go to my effect controls, right click, and to create my 360 degree environment or SkyDome, I'm gonna use a third-party plugin from METTLE, which is called METTLE Freeform Pro. That thing is freaking amazing. It's not just doing SkyDomes and stuff like that. This is just one feature, but it is freaking amazing. You can go and purchase that on METTLE website here. They have a couple of interesting plugins for After Effects, and the very popular new plugin that they have is the Skybox, which is giving you the possibility to create 360 degree videos, and that thing is awesome. Actually, every single product here is highly recommended. But for that, what I'm doing in this tutorial, we need Freeform Pro, which has the SkyDome feature built in. So let me just make a quick setup here in, if you have that plugin, so you put it just onto your sky map and go to generator and bring that down to 0 on X, Y, and Z, and close that section, open Environment SkyDom, activate that, go to custom settings, for SkyDom layer, go and select our SkyDom mirror and set the SkyDom mapping to equi rectangular. So that is our 360-degree environment. So I'm gonna put that before my element 3D layer, and here we go. So when I go here to my camera control and move my camera around, so you will see that we have that beautiful looking sky which is going around, and you can, look up. It looks perfect. That is amazing. So set everything to 0 again, and now I'm gonna set my camera movement. So before I do so, I'm gonna create a null for my soldier. So go to element layer, group number 2, which is the soldier, create group null and click on create. Then we're gonna rename that to soldier null, and then I'm gonna color code stuff so I know what belongs to what. In this case I'm not doing any mistakes. So that is the background, that is the sky. I'm gonna select blue for my sky. So here we go. And now I'm gonna select my soldier null, press P for position, right click on position and go to separate dimensions. So we separate X, Y, and Z. For Z, set a keyframe and set that to 600. And go to the very end and type in minus 4670, which are the values that I tested before they work actually best. So now our object is running and moving forward and looks pretty cool. So let me adjust my camera. So I go to my heading and turn that to minus 90 degrees. So here we go. You know what, I'm gonna go to 90 degrees. Watch it from the other side. Okay. Now, what I want to do is follow this soldier when he is running, and I want to follow him with my camera. So, but I don't want to go and turn, my heading like this. I just want the camera follow him wherever he goes. For that, I have a pretty fantastic feature built in simple camera rig. So what I can do is I go and create a new null. By the way, if you click here in the empty area, you can just go and select new and create a new null here. Gonna rename that and call it look at. This is my look at null. Turn it to 3D and shift parent it to my soldier null so it goes exactly to that place and position where my soldier null is, and it is now linked also to that null. So wherever that null goes, that will follow this null. But I still can go and move it up and down and change the position and even animate the position if needed. But for this tutorial, there is no need to animate that null at all, because it will go and follow this null which is already animated. So now with that said, we can go back to our camera control, look at layer, and change that guy to look at. So the camera will now look at this layer wherever it goes and follow that. So I'm gonna turn it purple so we can see what's going on. Now I am going to turn my camera again to something like this, about 68-70 degrees, and when the soldier is running, now you see that my camera is just following that null which is going with my soldier. And this is pretty awesome for many cases, really. Okay, that is set. The next thing I'm gonna do is just go to my group number 2 again, to my soldier, and go to particle replicator, set that number to 5, and change the replicator shape to layer, to plane. Set the Z scale up to 4 and X maybe a little bit like 2 or so. And then we go down to scatter and bring up scatter on Z about 60 or 70 or something. So they are all over the place. And now we can go to our particle look, animation, and set the frame offset random to about 20, 25, something like this. So in this way they are not all doing the same thing at the same time, so they look different while they're running. And we also change particle size random to about 15, 13, something like that. I think 13 is doing the job, so they are taller and shorter guys. And now if we go and take a look at our animation, that looks pretty cool. Okay. Now fine tuning is the rest what we have to do here. So let us do some. What I don't like here in that animation is when I go to that point, to a certain point, it is just too close to my object. See, so I don't like that. I want them to be a little bit far away and not so close to my camera. So for this, I'm gonna animate my tracking point here. I'm gonna set my track keyframe at 0 here, and when I move to that point, just gonna hold down control and move it back a bit so I can see a little bit more of the whole area. And then I move to about 39, 40 frames. And bring that back to 0. Okay. Now select my camera control, press U, and control click on the middle keyframe to make a smooth transition between those two keyframes. So easy ease. actually ease the animation. Okay, now I would like to turn on my DOF, depth of field. So depth of field is something that I also have in my script here. And now I'm gonna select, I can do the same thing, I can go and create a null for my DOF, so wherever that null is, it will be the focus target. So for that, I'm just gonna select my look at null again and turn it on, so you see what's going on. It blurs out and will focus to this point. Let me switch that to full resolution. Okay, and the blur level, I'm gonna bring it down a bit. It was 72. That is 63, let's say. Yep. That works. Also pretty cool. Let me create some light. New light, and I'm gonna create an ambient light here. And set it to the bluish color, a little bit brighter. So okay. And I need another light, which is my power light. And this one is gonna simulate my sun in the scene. So, and when I look at my sky here, it looks like the sun is somewhere here. So I switch to my left view and bring my light position behind the guys here, and go to my top view and bring that a bit to the side. So that is more or less where the sun is on my background image. So let me go and make a quick check here. Looks like we're right. So select element layer and go to render settings, physical environment, and select our sky mirror image for our environment. And for shadows, we enable the shadows and turn to ray traced, ambient occlusion as well, ray traced, and that is it for this section. We go down, turn on fog, and select color which matches the scene. That looks pretty cool. We can go and adjust the fog as well. So that's how we put it up. Something like this. Then we can close this section, go down to output, and make a little bit of anti-aliasing. So the next thing I'm gonna do is duplicate my element 3D layer here. Just select the layer and go to edit, duplicate, and in my output settings I'm gonna set that to Z depth, and tweak the settings here about maybe 1600 and 3200, something like that. That should work. Yeah, about 500 maybe. Okay, that looks good. And then I'm gonna set my first element 3D layer track matte to Luma inverted. So now we have a Z depth, and we do a quick preview. Everything should be in place and good to go. So this is what we have so far, and I'm really happy with the results. Really good. And now for the title at the end, I'm just gonna create the text layer and type in SWAT, scale it up a bit, and yeah, I'm gonna create another solid grayish one, call that SABER title, and in my effect controls, right click Video Copilot SABER, go to Customize Core and select Text Layer, and go and select SWAT as our text. Then we go up to presets and we go for thin, which is looking good here, and intensity I'm gonna bring it down like this. The color I'm gonna change that to a light grayish color here, and then I'm gonna put Video Copilot color vibrance. Check on fill empty background and matte alpha, turn it on. Change the color to some orangish, yellowish color. So underneath of my text layer I'm gonna create another null. So right click just between the name and the number, right click here, go to new and create an adjustment layer. Call that blur and set the track mat to alpha inverted. So on this blue we're gonna put the blur effect on it, the fast blue, and animate that guy from, let's say, here, from 0 to 30 or something, and check on repeat edge pixels. So when I turn that to full resolution, you will see that only the areas behind, around my text are blurred and nothing else. So everything inside of the text is still sharp, but everything around it goes to a blurry effect. So I'm gonna do that a little bit earlier than I did it here. So press U and push the keyframes just back to this point. So now you see really what's going on. Okay, and now I'm gonna animate our title here with the SABER plugin. So I go back to SABER and I set my start offset keyframe here and bring it up to 100 and go about here and bring it down to 0. So here we have our animated title and the blue going together. So let me make a preview. Of course, you can go and do some more details and you know, more fine tunings and color corrections and stuff like that. But you get the idea, and you know now how to go and use Mixamo and all those online services and free software which are helpful to create such a thing. Don't forget to check out the simple camera rig and go for that videos and check them out. They are really interesting and it is pretty fantastic script. Also freeform, and there is some other thing I would like to show you, how you can go and create the 360 environment if you don't have Freeform Pro. So the next thing you can do for that is, instead of using Freeform, you can go and use Horizon, which is a plugin from Trapcode, and you can purchase that plugin on Red Giant's website, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. So here we have our sky again, and the Horizon is doing more or less the same thing. Well, it is giving you the 360 environment as Freeform Pro does, but in some cases it makes things a bit complicated and works not that well as Freeform Pro does. But you can use that for that kind of situations for sure. You can go and purchase that on Red Giant's webpage on the Trapcode Horizon. If you go to Products, you see Trapcode Suite, and you can go to Horizon, or you can download a trial version, I guess. Yeah, free trial version, which is working 30 days as far as I know. Check them out and try them. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and we'll see you next time.